Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. If you're an 8th grade student tuning in, I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here. Today, we're totally changing the way you look at math. We're not going to treat it as just another chore or a boring list of rules you have to memorize for some test. Instead, we're going to look at it as a powerful, incredibly practical tool for navigating the actual limits of your real life. Whether you're managing your time, your money, or your energy, math gives you the framework to make smart, safe, and wise decisions.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's a quick look at our roadmap for today. We'll cover the beauty of boundaries, translating real-life clues, solving real-world scenarios, dodging common math traps, and finally, wisdom, morality, and education. Let's get to it. All right, Section 1, the beauty of boundaries. Let's talk about limits in our daily lives. So, we need to completely redefine what a boundary actually means. Psalm 90 verse 12 says, "Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom." You know, there is just such profound wisdom right there. Keeping track of our limits, like really understanding that we only have so much time in a single day, a limited amount of energy to spend, or just a specific amount of cash in our pockets, it's actually not meant to restrict us. Recognizing these limits is exactly how we gain true wisdom and become really good stewards of what we've been given.
And honestly, that brings us perfectly to the mathematical side of things. In algebra, inequalities help us make smart decisions when we're dealing with these limits, minimums, or maximums. Think about it. Whether you're budgeting out your weekly allowance, making sure you have enough time to finish your homework, or keeping a promise to a friend, these mathematical limits act as total safety nets. They don't just tell us what something is, they show us exactly what is possible.
Moving right along to Section 2, translating real-life clues. We're going to decode math's secret language.
Now, what's really interesting here is that these translations are basically your master key. Seriously, I want you to lock these into your memory because they're the ultimate cheat codes for word problems. When a problem says you need at least something, well, it means greater than or equal to. If it says at most, boom, that's your clue for less than or equal to. More than is simply greater than, and less than is, well, exactly what it sounds like. Once you nail down these 4 translations, even the trickiest word problems suddenly become a total breeze.
Okay, Section 3, solving real-world scenarios. Let's see those cheat codes in action.
Let's test out those brand new translation skills on some real-world middle school scenarios. Listen closely to this one. You want to save at least $30. You save $5 each week. So how many weeks will it take? Did your ear catch that mathematical clue? At least. That right there is the magic phrase.
And look how beautifully that translates. $5 times the number of weeks, which we'll just call x, must be greater than or equal to 30. 5x is greater than or equal to 30. Just like that, your real-life money goal transforms into a super clean, simple mathematical inequality. How cool is that?
All right, here's another one. And I bet this boundary is highly relatable for a lot of you. The rule is you can't play more than 2 hours of video games per day. So, think back to your symbol cheat sheet. How would you write can't play more than?
Exactly! X is less than or equal to 2. This brilliantly illustrates how everyday household rules are really just algebraic inequalities hiding in plain sight. You guys have literally been doing algebra your whole lives without even realizing it.
Let's try one final scenario. And for this one, I really want to challenge you to set up the math in your head before I reveal the answer. Ready? You have $40 in your wallet. Each shirt you want to buy costs $8. How many shirts can you buy? What exactly is the limit here? Well, here is the setup. Since you only have $40, your total cost, which is 8 times X shirts, must be less than or equal to 40. It has to be at most $40. Why? Because you literally cannot spend money you don't have, right? And so the answer is 5. You can buy up to 5 shirts. Do you see how incredibly practical this is? Math isn't just a bunch of random numbers floating around on a page. It gives us clear, actionable answers for managing our resources and making really great choices. Moving into Section 4, dodging common math traps. Let's talk about learning from our mistakes. Now, as we learn these skills, we are definitely going to make some mistakes along the way. And hey, that is perfectly okay. There's actually a beautiful connection here. 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 5 says, "Examine yourselves, test yourselves." In our faith, we're called to reflect, test, and grow. So making an error on your math homework, it absolutely doesn't mean failure. It just means you're engaging in that exact same process of self-examination. You stop, you look at your steps, you figure out where you strayed off the path, and you correct it. That, my friends, is exactly how wisdom is built.
So let's slow down for a second and walk through the 3 biggest pitfalls that trap students on tests. Step 1, always flip the inequality sign if you divide or multiply by a negative number. That is absolutely crucial. Step 2, check your graphing circle. Is it an open circle or is it a closed, filled-in circle for equal to? And step 3, please don't treat an inequality like an equation. An equation gives you one specific answer, right? But an inequality gives you a whole range of possibilities, a whole boundary. Gotta watch out for those traps.
And finally, Section 5, Wisdom, Morality, and Education. Education with a true purpose.
Let's weave these math formulas and spiritual lessons into one cohesive worldview, okay? Think about it like this. God gives us boundaries for our protection, and math gives us boundaries for our decision-making. They're basically 2 sides of the exact same coin. When we respect limits, whether that means carefully checking the negative sign in an algebraic inequality, obeying a physical safety rule, or following moral guidance, we're showing maturity, and we're showing true honor to God and to the people around us.
So, the crucial point here is this foundational philosophy from the HeroesMart Academy Godly Learners series. Education without morality will hurt. Being book smart or being super great at solving for X simply isn't enough if you completely lack the moral boundaries to use that knowledge well. Education gives you power, sure, but morality gives you the compass to actually use that power safely.
And the beautiful thing is, when you combine the two, the rewards are incredible. Romans chapter 8, verses 6 through 7 promises peace of mind to everyone who keeps their mind spiritual. Engaging with this kind of grounded, well-rounded learning, where you're stretching your intellect with math while heavily grounding your character in faith, is exactly what leads to that promised peace of mind.
I want to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative thought to really ponder today. What is the absolute point of being smart and supposedly educated if you just continue making bad choices that end up hurting yourself or the people around you? As you go forward, I want to challenge you. Use your brilliant math skills to navigate the practical limits of your day, but use your spiritual wisdom to build a great, purposeful, and well-bounded life. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep testing yourselves, and keep growing. Catch you next time.